What's up, y'all? Long time no see. I've been going through the works. If you're watching this, you're probably like, what? Podcast? Yes. I started the journey. I officially decided to hop on, because this is the same exact thing I said in my first YouTube video, but I don't know. I feel like podcasting could be for me, and mad people have told me, like, yo, start the podcast. So I'm like, let me give the people what they want. No, I'm playing. But, yeah, I wanted to try this style because I feel like I'm good at, taking notes, writing down shit, and then organizing it into a nice structured video. But I want to try just free talking, I think a lot of my most fruitful opinions and honest thoughts come out when I'm not filtering myself and when I'm just letting it happen. So I'm here. I'm letting it happen, and we're gonna try. So stick around. This podcast is not gonna be as serious as this first episode is going to be all the time, but I want it to be a nice variety. And as the title of this channel podcast is now going to be called, From My Notes to You, I have a lot in my notes in my head, my notes in my actual phone app, and I just felt like I could share with y'all. So it's gonna be silly stuff, it's gonna be stuff that don't make sense, it'll be goofy shit, and it'll be serious things like we're about to get into today, because my voice is just the gift that keeps on giving. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't know. Yeah, I like speaking. I like hearing myself talk. I like, I don't know, bro. I'm conceited, and I think that my thoughts are important enough for you guys to listen to it for an hour plus. So that's the real tea. That's why I'm starting this podcast. Has nothing to do with me wanting to help you guys. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I can share what I can share, and if it helps someone out there, if it's entertaining, if it brightens someone's day, whether that's because they're making fun of me or because they're laughing with me, I don't fucking care. And honestly, I'm happy about your joy either way. Now, the goal of this is to do this with as minimal cuts as possible, but one thing about me, I got a breath, especially when I'm talking passionately. My breath just be escaping, okay? But maybe this will be a good lesson for me to try to practice speaking slower and smoother. But yeah, I don't know. So minimal cuts as possible, but like obviously if I get up and leave or something, there's no need to leave that in here for 30 minutes or whatever, because I just be leaving. I just be getting up. So I don't fucking know. But I'm gonna try to make this as chill as possible, and yeah, let's just fucking get into it. Okay. So title of this, episode 1, obviously, is going to be why I left religion. And I just want to start off by saying that I never thought I'd want to make a video like this or talk about this honestly publicly, because religion and spirituality and all that are just such personal things. And I feel like that's why I didn't, like, I always wanted to be as personal as I could without stepping over boundaries or whatever, or potentially stepping on people's toes. But hey, my opinions are my opinions. I want to share my story because I want to share a story of, not of hate, but one of love, of hope, finding hope again. So I don't know if it resonates, and if it helps somebody, then mission accomplished, and I'm happy. But if it's not for you, it's not for you, and that's fine. So yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, my story with religion is interesting. I don't know. I think I'm gonna start with my growing up. I grew up in a very religious family, household. My dad's a pastor, and I was very involved in church from a young age. Church choir. Church was quite literally life. Also, sorry if my bracelets are making noise. I feel like I always have to have them on. Hopefully they're not too distracting. I'm gonna have them on, but if you guys don't like it, then y'all can let me know not to do it again, and I got you. I'll take them off next time. But I'm gonna keep them on for now because I hope it's not too bad. Also, the chair might be squeaking, so sorry. Also, yeah, technical stuff, like I will be getting a mic and all the things to make a podcast a genuine, real lituation. But I just wanted to get this out because I just felt like this message specifically has been aching to jump out my chest. So yeah, stick with me, and you're gonna see the improvements. Location, all that stuff is gonna start getting better, but you gotta start with what you have. Yeah, so grew up very religious, but I will say, to be honest, and this is not until me looking back now, but back then I wasn't as connected to it as I thought I was. I was like, yeah, I'm Christian, that's me, and that's it. I don't know, like I was repping Jesus real hard. I just thought it was the end all be all, but I don't think I realized that there was a level of connection that should have been there that wasn't. And again, it's not until I left it and found spirituality that I realized there was that lack. But yeah, besides choir and stuff, there weren't really like that many other things going on to be like excited about or involved in. There was Bible study, whatever, Sunday school, you know, I always listened. I always did ask questions, but there was always like lingering questions, or even the ones that I did ask, they were never answered properly. But I brushed it off and I was like, well, I mean, the answer that I was always getting was certain questions just can't be answered. So I was like, okay, I guess that's fine with me, you know. It wasn't, but I kind of felt like I had to be okay with it. So I was just like, all right, I guess that's just the way it is. So yeah, it was an interesting time. Like internally, I knew I wasn't like looking at how everybody else was interacting in church or was interpreting what was being said and stuff like that. I could tell that there was something happening for other people that wasn't happening for me, but I was just like, maybe it'll come with time. Maybe it's just because I'm sad, because I was really depressed as a kid. But I don't know. Yeah, I was just waiting for the day when it would finally click. Like I used to have the same prayer of, you know, hey, like I'm kind of, I don't know, like I'm not really sure, but like I know like you're like able to reveal yourself to people. So if you could just reveal yourself to me, just to like make sure that you got me, because I'm not sure, like we weren't really in connection, you know. I was like, I'm talking to you, but I'm not really hearing anything back. Just let me know. Just give me a voicemail text if you get this, and you can let me know that you're actually hearing me. But I don't know, just there's never a connection. Like I would go to like other churches, I'd hear the sermons, and I'd kind of like tune out at some point. Every now and then I would actually listen, but even when I was listening, I was always finding something that either just wasn't adding up or wasn't making sense, but just kind of pushing it down. Or I don't know, just would be like, okay, like sounds whatever, I don't know. There's also just lots of hate, like, or just negative talk that I would hear in church. Like it was more warnings, more here's what's gonna happen if, more you need to do this, or rather than a lot of messages of this is what's gonna happen, like good things are gonna happen, you know, like you'll be rewarded. I don't know, it was more just so like you have to like just beware type energy, which threw me off as well. And I was like, I don't know, I didn't understand what this energy was. I didn't have any names for it, any words for it, no really description, just this is the vibes that I felt in church. Although again, all this being said, this whole time I'm still repping it hella hard. I'm still, don't like, you couldn't talk to me about Jesus. You could not tell me that he was not real, because I'll come for you. I'll be like, nah, the Bible right here. People be like, okay, what about this? Well, this, I don't know. It just I'm just right. I don't care what you're saying right now. Like your point could be valid, but I'm right, and I know that. So that was me. High school, as my depression got worse and my disassociation became more, I stopped repping it as hard. I still claimed myself to be Christian, and I still, you know, was telling myself that I was, and was identifying as such. But I stopped really giving a why. Like there was no more of a why I'm Christian. It was just I am Christian. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me what that means to me. Just know that it's an identifier for me and it's a label, and I go with it. I didn't want to think about it. I wasn't really able either to really think about much, because again, I was so dissociated from life, like in every aspect, emotionally, mentally. I was not there, okay? I was floating around. I was just existing in my body, but I was not really living. Like I didn't have my own sense of identity, my own sense of self, period. Like I was just a body, just going through the motions on pilot mode, or is it autopilot? Whatever. Just going, you know. I was just, I don't know. Things changed. So senior year, after I graduated, I get baptized, and I was terrified because I was like, I'm gonna get struck by lightning. I was like, if God's real and he sees me up here pretending like I know what I'm doing, like I'm really fully into this, I'm gonna get electrocuted, or like I'm gonna die right here on the spot. So honestly, going into my baptism, I was scared. And I think that should have been an indicator, because I was like, I don't think that's the feeling you're supposed to feel. Like, everyone else was so excited for me. The whole time I'm sitting here like, dog, I'm not coming back out of this water. Like, I'm gonna die. I didn't, thankfully. I'm still here, you know. But yeah, after that, I was like, this is strange. I go to college, and my friend who was into like astrology, spirituality, stuff like that, she had always been talking about it in high school, but again, me being Christian, I was like, I'm rejecting all that evil. I don't know what you're talking about, nonsense or whatever. I was like, that's fake, blah, blah. But we get to school, and like within like the first month, we're sitting down at like lunch or something, or breakfast, whatever, in the dining hall, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm kind of doubting this whole faith stuff. And she looked at me, she was like, I knew it. I was like, what? And she started talking about how like, oh, there's like a mass awakening going on, and like people are starting to like leave the old things, so like religion, stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay. Like, and I'm a little bit like, I got a little Aquarius energy in me where I'm like, I'm not like other girls, so like I don't follow the group, you know. I was just like, oh well, if this is just because everyone's doing it, then this has nothing to do with me then. Never mind, false alarm. Not exactly, but yeah. I was going to this church that was close to where I was living on campus. It was really like a 10-minute walk from my dorm. I was going with a friend who is also religious and is, I'm not, but yeah. She is to this day religious. And we would go, and then at some point, I kind of just didn't have the interest anymore. I was like, I don't really feel like going anymore. Like, I'm not really getting much. Now, it could have been the fact that it was like a white church where I'm used to Haitian church, lit church, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, but I didn't think it was that, honestly. I was like, if it was really that deep for me, or that if the personal connection with God was there, it wouldn't have necessarily mattered, because knowing the circumstances, I'm the type of person, that's the thing. I can understand circumstances and like make sense of my reality and accept it. So the fact that I couldn't adapt to it, I was like, I don't think it's just because the music's different or because the vibe is different. I was like, this is deeper. So I stopped going. I was even trying to go to like, it was like this Christian group that I found through Facebook or whatever that was on campus, an organization. I found out about them. I tried to go to their events a couple times so that I could, you know, be around more Christian people and really start to get that sense of community back in. But I think I only ended up going to one meeting. And this was probably, I want to say, the beginning of my undoing process, in the best way possible. But I go to this meeting, and that day, the task was to write down like why you believe in God, or like why your personal relationship with God is so strong, like what he's done for you that's made you, you know, like have that relationship. Everyone's writing, I'm looking at everyone, smiling on their face, everyone's going in. And then I write down, honestly, I was like, I don't have anything. I was like, I don't really have any experience. And quite frankly, to be honest, I don't even think there's a relationship here. So people start sharing. I think, what was it first? I think they told us to share in our partners first, maybe. So share with somebody at the group. Now, I just happened to be sitting down next to like one of the senior like upperclassmen leaders, and you know, he tells me his thing. He's like, oh, blah blah blah, I had this and that, and then I developed my own relationship with, you know, God at this moment, and this is why I'm here, blah blah. As he's talking, I'm just like, damn, yeah, can't relate, like and then I read what I had written down. I said straight up, yeah, like I don't have a relationship with him. I don't feel like I have any personal attachment. My only relationship through Jesus is the one that I've had through my parents, which is like they have a relationship with God, so I know I have to have one with him. But there's no one-on-one connection there. And he goes, like, he's very non-judgmental about it, and I really appreciated that, because I was very nervous and scared of how that reaction would, or of just how people would react in general to me not being so 100% in it, because I feel like, obviously not all Christians, but there is a tendency to be very judgmental rather than understanding when there is a difference in opinions or questions. And a lot of the time it's like, how dare you doubt? How dare you lack faith? When in reality, it should be, I understand. Let's work through this. Let's rebuild it up instead of, tearing people down and judging. But that's all part of the reason. So anyways, reason that I'm not with it anymore. But yeah, so he's non-judgmental and he's like, that's completely fine. I understand. And then he tells me that every set of parents, regardless of faith, whatever religion they follow or what, they give their children a faith bag. So a bag, containing metaphorical, of course, that has a bunch of different things to believe in, a bunch of mindsets, different values, morals to uphold, right? And then at some point in everyone's life, you have to look through that bag and decide what you're going to keep for yourself and what are you going to pass off and let go because that doesn't resonate with you anymore. I was like, damn, okay. I like to point out that it's been a long time. It's been like an hour or two. But I was having storage issues. Because your girl don't know how to take care of storage. But anyways, I'm back. So I left off at the faith bag and all that stuff, yes. And another huge part, so along with like I was saying, like there was a lot of negativity and just more negative energy being preached about being sent out during church. One of the biggest things that I would hear about at least every other week, if not every week, was the fact that gay people were going to hell, and anyone in the LGBTQ plus community that was just like satanic, trash, blah blah blah. That caused a whole set of issues for me. That internalized homophobia was hella heavy, hella real, until my freshman year of college. So around all that time, as I'm questioning my faith, I also happened to start questioning my sexuality. And I was like, wait a minute, some things aren't adding up here. I was like, it's not giving what it used to be giving. But basically that was part of why, like, before I even realized like I was going through changes or like had some truths to deal with, I was like, wait, but I have friends, people. Also ignore the background sound, I'm so sorry. But I was like, I know so many people, and like I was always that Christian that'd be like, I don't hate you, I just hate what you're doing or like your lifestyle. But like I didn't even sound convincing to myself, because I'd be saying that, but I was like, what really is the problem? Like, why do I really care? And like, I really didn't. So I grew up with a lot of dissonance going on. There was a lot of what was on the inside wasn't matching what I was thinking, wasn't matching what I was saying. So yeah. Right. So faith bag. So that talk happens, and I'm like, damn, like I think I gotta go look through that bag real quick. And then it was all a bunch of different things happening. So it's not one reason, which is why people, when they ask me like what happened, I'm like, it's a complicated story. It wasn't one cause that led to the effect of me leaving religion. It was a build-up, and it was more what led to me getting the courage to leave, to be honest. At the time, things were also going just really terribly wrong, like in every other aspect, like school-wise specifically was a mess. Basically, I went into college with many expectations, and not even anything crazy, but like everything was just going completely opposite of how I hoped. Financially speaking, it was a very tough time. I had no clue about loans or anything before I got to school, or like how fucking anything worked, literally credit, blah blah blah. Finance just in general was just foreign to me completely. So I was very blindsided when halfway through the first semester they're like, what are you gonna do to like stay here? I was like, bro, I don't fucking know, you tell me. But that was very stressful, and I was just so done. I was just over everything. And then yeah, like I just felt very alone. I wasn't really, oh my god, this sound is really bothering me. I don't know if I can do this. I fucking hate that. In my city, they don't even show no love no more. Yeah, go stream that shit. That shit's heat. I swear. Bro, this is the sound from the toilet flushing. It cannot be going on for this long. Beautiful. Okay. So where the fuck was I? Because I was very distracted by that. Right, everything's going to shit. Okay, yeah, I was just really alone, just kind of trying to figure out my place there at school, and I just really hated every second that I was there. It got to a point when, like I said, so depression is coming in full gear again. Disassociation is my biggest like symptom when I am back in like my full spring, I guess. But I don't know what the fuck I don't know how to describe this. When I'm like really depressed, disassociation is one of the biggest things that happens to me. So I was just really disassociated, and I just, those one specific day. This is okay. So I like to call this, like, all my friends I've talked to recently about like my life recently have heard of the big breakdown of 2019. I call this, like, I gotta give like a cool name or something. I don't know. But I call it the big breakdown of 2019 because that was really the catalyst, I want to say, I think, to getting me really, really moving. Like I said, everything's just going to shit. Everything's terrible. But then one specific day, I remember like I was texting like friends or whatever. They were talking about like their own problems, and I was just tired of it. I was just like, I can't respond anymore. I'm done. And then one of my friends' little brother texted me like randomly, like out the blue, was just like, hey, like, how are you? And I lost my shit, bro. I just started, oh my God, I just started bawling. I was like, wow. I think at the moment, I remember thinking to myself, bro, none of my actual friends are even hitting me up or like talking to me. Granted, I'm not gonna blame my friends for any of this because I also have an issue with not communicating when I'm going through things and trying to fight everything alone. So no blame. But actually that day was I was definitely trying to, anyways, hey, yeah, I was just sad. I was just like, wow, like, this youngin is over here hitting me up to check on me, but I can't even get that support, like, from anyone around me, like my age group, whatever. It was just, everything was like coming down at once. And I just cried. I was just so like sad and just felt so empty. And I remember that night I went to sleep, like I just felt like nothing. The next day I had never felt that empty before. Or maybe I have back in middle school, back in the olden rough ass days, but it had been a while since I had been that down bad. So let's see. Yeah, the next day I was just completely just empty. I was just like talking to that friend that I used to go to church with, and I remember I was just like, yeah, like I have no more hope, bro. Like I've given up. Like I don't care what happens. I don't care anymore. Like I'm over it. Like I'm done stressing. I just can't. Cause I don't know. I guess in a way, my dissociation has been like a superpower for me over the years, because when shit gets really, really tough, like I'll feel it for a while, and then at some point my brain just stops me from feeling anymore. So, you know, it was good. It did what it had to do, got the job done, but obviously not healthy. But at the time, it was beneficial for me. So, anyways, really bad day. I was just empty, and then I want to say the next day or that night, I ended up watching a tarot pick a card reading on YouTube, and it had just, I don't know, she described my situation so perfectly. And she was like, I feel like you just had a major breakdown. Like I see tears. Like you just finally cried, and like, you know, and I don't cry often too. So she was like, yeah, I feel like you just finally cried after a long time holding a lot of stuff in. You've just had a big release, and things are gonna change now though, you know. All you really gotta do at this point is just kind of take back ownership of your life and just start, like, I don't know. She was just like, it's about to be a new beginning. This specific reading, she was just like, it's about to be a new beginning. Times are about to get better. Was just saying a lot of hopeful shit. And I was like, okay, maybe there's a little hope there. I don't know. I just stuck. And now, again, like, well, not again, but I'm the type of person that believes, I'm sure I get into that later. I think something works for everyone. And it could have been a poem that I saw that day that could have inspired me. It could have been a sermon from a church that inspired me that day. It could have been anything from any other religion that could have sparked it. But for me, it was that tarot pick a card reading. But I'll get more into that later. But yeah. So after that, I was just I completely 180. Like my energy changed so quickly. And I was just so excited. Suddenly I was like, yo, like it was like literally my faith just re-entered my body. Like some type of life entered my body for the first time at that moment. I was like, whoa, there's a chance I could live a life that I want. And like, I wasn't aware, I wasn't hip. After that, I kept watching more readings. They were all kind of like on the same type of vibe of like just like rebirth type energy. You're about to do some new things, and you're just about to like, your life's about to change. And I was just like, all right, if y'all say so, bro, because I need something to have faith in at this point, or else there's really no point for me to be here anymore. Not like on some suicidal shit, but just like that ass. I was like, yo, I'm just bored. Like, I don't want to, like, there's no point. Okay, not suicidal, but just not live happy, live pro-life, I guess. I was more just like, I guess I have to be here. I don't really want to go, but while I'm here, I'd like to enjoy it, or like be living in it, so you get the vibes. Yeah, so I started getting readings talking about how, I need to go back to like the passions, the things that make me happy, go back and like remember all the things I used to do as a kid that used to bring me joy, try to start a new endeavor. Like, this is like, I'm seeing creativity in your life, I'm seeing you need more, blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay, like, this sounds right. So at the time I was also majoring in psychology, and I thought I was going to become a therapist. I went in there thinking I'm going to be a therapist or a psychiatrist 150%, no doubt, no ifs, ands, or buts. That was also part of my stress, because I was like, wait, I think I tried to decide too early. I don't know if I really gave myself the time to explore and think about what I wanted to do further. So it was just, a lot of chaos and confusion and stuff like that. So hearing that I was headed down a path more towards creativity, which would be more aligned with what I feel inside, was very, again, inspiring, encouraging, and just gave me hope. Now, I don't want to make it sound like after that, ever since then, it's just been perfect, it's been rosy, it's been happy. As a matter of fact, the past 2 years have been, I want to say, treacherous. That sounds pretty accurate, yeah. It was like, the super happiness and motivation probably lasted a week or two or something. But the actual spiritual growth that path that I started to take after that, then I'm still on, and that is eternal. It has been a fucking ride, to say the least. It just recently got up, I'll say. But it was very down. And now this is where the difference is, and like how both, like, okay, with religion, or at least with Christianity specifically, with my experience, it was so much more about the end goal and about, forget all the worries, forget all the bad shit, forget all the bad things happening in your life. It'll all be worth it when you get to see Jesus, after you spend the rest of your life committing yourself to honoring and serving him and worshiping him and giving him the praise that he deserves, then you'll be rewarded in heaven. So it doesn't matter, blah blah. And obviously that's a very quick summary for the 20 years of instruction that I was receiving, but that was genuinely the overall vibe, and I just did not fuck with it. And I really tried to convince myself. I tried to literally, again, like, I was begging like for a connection, for some type of sign, some type of confirmation. Nothing. And then for me to be at my lowest point, and then it be spirituality or like that tarot card, astrology, whatever, that gave me that hope finally. I was like, why have I been investing my life into something that has never come anywhere near as helpful as this has been in this past couple months, or even like just at that time, past couple weeks, I guess, past couple days. And it was still a really difficult decision for me to make, that being said, but slowly I was like, I need to get rid of this fear of what's going to happen from leaving religion, because it shouldn't just be about the end goal, it should be about the process and the journey of what it's doing for me now. But, I started to walk away. And that was the thing too. Fear. It just felt so fear-based. It felt like I was only doing it because I was afraid of what would happen in the afterlife, because I was afraid of going to hell, because I was afraid of that. But it was never because I like this or because it feels good or because I feel connected, With spirituality, it was a whole completely different experience where here I am again, like in a bad moment, and then this is what gives me that faith, that hope in life again. And I think that was an easy, an easy selling point at that point. Sure, there was still the fear of disappointing the family, disappointing, I don't know, everyone else, anyone who was rooting for me on the Christian side, but I had to stay true to myself, and I had to think about what felt good. And again, spirituality, it's more than just, I didn't even finish my thought. It's more than just, crystals and your sun sign, your whatever, your big three. It's literally a lifestyle for me, And I'm not saying that every Christian does it like so robotically the way that I was in perceiving it or experiencing it, but in my particular life that I'm living, that is how I saw it, and that's how it was presented to me. But right. So the journey has not been roses. It has not been all lights and happiness. It has been a healing journey, and healing is not easy. Healing is not fun. Healing is tiring. It is a process. It is so draining. Like, talk about draining, bro. Mentally, it's like as happy as I was that I was on this journey now to getting better and taking control of my life, I'd say. Spiritually, I was exhausted. Mentally, I was exhausted. Physically, I was exhausted over these past 2 years, because I've just been deep diving into everything, into who I am, into my past, to my now, letting go of the future, but also knowing that I can control it and make it what I want. All of these things are not things that you just watch a video and can believe. So I don't know, like, quickly, it's really, you have to experience it and go through it to understand what it's like. And also, I think the difference for me is, like, spirituality is more aligned with, like, mental health teachings that we get. Like, stuff like, I don't know, shadow work is literally just, like, going through your past and, examining what has led you to where you are now. Like, that is so intuitive. Whereas in church, it was more like, forget about all the bad things. Just focus, just know that Jesus got you. Like, no, you don't need to run away from the bad things. That's why people end up miserable. That's why people end up in the same toxic cycles repeating throughout their life. That's why people can't end karmic cycles. That's why people get stuck living the same terrible plays of their life over and over again, just in different settings with different people. I was determined to let go, because genuinely, I describe it as I was tired of being tired. I was tired of feeling out of control. I was tired of feeling like my life was in my own, like I was just living solely to fulfill everyone else's desires, dreams. And I was like, I have my own, and I want to get reacquainted with them so I can live them out and be my own person and live my best life. And that is the trend that I'm currently on. I've been talking for a minute, so I'm probably gonna end it soon, just so I can, like, because this is like a little intro. This is just the why. I can do more, and I can't even speak. Oh my god, I'm over here trying to podcast. But I'm definitely gonna do more videos if y'all want, of course. If the audience is like, ooh, talk more about this aspect, I got you. But this isn't a video about spirituality, so I'm not gonna like go too much in depth. But just, yeah, like, generally speaking, it's been more like, to summarize it again, spirituality has been more of a journey to understanding and a learning process, which makes sense to me. And again, focuses on yourself. And I think that was neglected in religion for me, because it was never about the self. It was always about someone else, whether it's honor your father, honor your parents, don't do this with your body because it's God's body, it's Jesus' body, don't do this, blah, 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 because you're not allowed, because Satan, and that's demonic, and you're not supposed to give into temptation and stuff like that. But I'm like, dude, there's no way we were ever going to be perfect human beings. Obviously, we're going to do bad things. Everyone has good and bad, but, like, ignoring the bad and just pretending like it isn't there, doesn't make you a better person. Like, it doesn't make you a superior human being. You're just hiding parts of yourself, which I guess that's fine. I mean, you're not doing anything bad to anyone, but I don't know, something about living inauthentically for others while betraying myself just feels wrong. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel fulfilling. And I refused to do that because that was the path I was headed on. And again, at some point you just get tired of being tired, and you get tired of not being in control, and you're like, I'm gonna fucking take the reins, and I'm gonna take the wheel, and I'm gonna drive myself where I want to go. So that's kind of, yeah, basically how I ended up here. I'm spiritual. I wouldn't say I practice spirituality, because spirituality to me versus being a part of an organized religion is being in touch with I think religious people should be spiritual. Like, I don't think none of the rules and regulations and like practices of religion matter if they're not benefiting you, if they're not actually making you a better person, or, you know, helping you to reach the best like version of your life that you can reach, or that best version of yourself that you can be. Like, if they're not pushing you towards that, and it's just pushing you towards, okay, well, the afterlife, then I find that wrong. And don't get me started on all the political aspects of how religion is just and what it has been historically, currently. Like, I'm not even gonna brush all of that because I just wanted to speak from my personal experience today. But if you ask me to this day, like, how do I feel about like Christianity as a whole, or like religion, I'm gonna say this. Like I said, I think something works for everybody. I think where for me breaking out of religion was what saved me. I think for someone else joining it, someone who needs like structure, needs organization in their life, or like direct guidance, you know what I mean, that could be their saving grace. I don't have a problem with that. I just do not support hate, obviously. I don't like forcing people to doing things just out of tradition or ritual, but not for purpose again. And yeah, no, the main important thing is definitely the hate part, because I'm not about to sit there and listen to you talk about how this person is the best person and is the person, is the like the best God out of all the ones that, you know, we've come up with. But they hate this group of people and they don't fuck with this group of people. So no, like, absolutely not. Like, that's bullshit. But I know that there are people, or even like, is it sectors within the religions or just different groups? I don't know. It's so like, that's another thing too about it. Like, this church believes this church says no. Like, and that was confusing to me. I'm like, how do you expect to get people on the same page if within the actual religion we're not on the same page? Because this group of people is interpreting the Bible this way versus this group. So that, I don't like that, because it's like, if I'm gonna be in, I'm gonna be in it. But like, if we can't even agree on what the basic principles are, then what are we agreeing to agree about on whatever? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I the people who are okay with, let's call it, like, to be specific, like, again, with gay people, then great. I'm glad you support. I'm glad you're a stan. I'm glad. No, I'm playing. But yeah, like, that's beautiful. And if you can find a way to be, or to make that religion yours, and like, you know, stand up for what's good and still be wholesome, and, you know, all the good things, all the hope, the love, whatever, that's perfectly fine. I'm down with that. Spread the light. Whatever works for you, whatever is good. Just, it's not for me anymore. And that's cool. That's cool, you know, because like, I'm not going to sit there and discriminate against you. If you're religious and you can be my friend, I can be your friend. I don't need to disrespect your beliefs. You don't need to disrespect mine. But yeah, man, I think that's really it. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of thinking. It took a long time to really be okay with it, because like I said, fear had me like, nah, but what if like I'm wrong though? But like, what if I'm not? You know? And I don't know. I'm such a person that believes that everything is real, but everything's also not. So I'm like, as much as I believe in, you know, my guardian angels and my spirit guides and my ancestors, that could all be nonsense. But I've put meaning to it. So, and I think that's what spirituality is too. Like whatever you put meaning to, or like a belief in spirituality, like whatever you put meaning to is gonna be true. So I mean, if I believe it, then that's what I believe. If I don't, I don't. So I don't know, man. My thing is, you can't prove to me any more than I can prove to you that what I believe is right, or what you believe is right. So I don't try, you know? It's just, I can share my story and you can choose to fuck with it, or you can choose to be like, nah. And either way is fine, you know? I'm not, again, I didn't come here to convert y'all. I'm just here to share my piece because it's a fucking podcast and we fucking getting litty out here. Wow, I'm really interested to know how this is gonna go because I stuttered so much and I'm like, am I really about to like post that with all those in there? But that'd be authentic, wouldn't it? Well, yeah, I think that's it. So again, I'll probably have like a sequel to this that's like more in depth, my spiritual journey, what it's been like, what that entails, different aspects of the journey. I don't know. Again, whatever y'all want, whatever I feel like doing, I guess. Thank you for listening. Oh my god. Wow, sorry. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making it this far, if you did. I hope you appreciate this first episode. I hope y'all stick with me to see how the rest of this goes, because I think it's gonna be some good stuff. I think we're gonna have some good stuff going, and I think this can be a fun thing. I also have many plans for like how this podcast will proceed. So I'm telling you right now, like genuinely, I have good things coming, big things coming, and I think you should stay tuned. So stick with me and I'll appreciate it. Sorry, I'm just like looking to make sure this is still recording because that cut off like 2 hours ago when I was talking the first time. But anyways, yeah, that's it. And wish me luck on this editing process because I don't know how this is gonna work or if it's gonna be smooth sailing, but I'm hoping it is. Yeah, thank you so much.